Hi everybody, it's Miss Mary, and today I am going to show you how to do a fun April Fool's Day prank. Now we all know that there's no use crying over spilled milk, right? So today, we're not gonna cry over it, but we might laugh over it. I'm gonna show you how to make a fake milk spill that you can use to prank your friends, maybe your family if you're feeling really, really brave. So what you're gonna need for this craft is a surface that you can use as like your template, either glass or plastic. Would not recommend using Mom's Favorite cookie sheet for this because you are gonna get it pretty messy and have some glue on it. So what I did, I ended up using, this is just the insert from like a picture frame from the dollar store. I think it's gonna work out just fine for us. You're also gonna need something to help that surface, to make that surface easier to peel your glue off of. So I will link instructions for this craft. They suggested rubbing just plain soap on the surface to kind of help emulsify, to help peel that stuff up. You can also use cooking oil, WD-40, pretty much anything that will help with that non-stick kind of surface. And you will need some white glue. That's it, 3 things that you need. So first thing that I'm gonna do is rub this down. I do have some cooking oil. And I'm not gonna add a whole lot because I don't want it to be too oily, but I'm just gonna add a little bit to a paper towel and just kind of grease up that surface so that our glue will come off nice and easy when the time comes to peel it off. I'm also running an experiment at the same time as I'm filming this video to see if it works with wax paper, because that would kind of make it more like a sticker, I think. But I'm not sure if Elmer's glue peels up really well from wax paper or not. So at the same time that I'm doing this, I am running an experiment on wax paper, and I will let you know what the results are a little bit later so we can find out together if that works or not. So once I have kind of greased up the surface of my clear thing, I'm holding it up, I'm hoping you can kind of see that. The next thing that you do, this is the really easy part, is take your white Elmer's glue and just draw a splatter and fill it in. Pretty easy to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and just sort of like outline what I hope will look like a spill, maybe of milk. All right, let me see. This kind of looks like a flower, but we'll see how it actually turns out. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in. So while we're filling it in, let's talk about the history of April Fool's Day. So historians don't actually know how April Fool's Day started. One thing that they speculate is that in 1582, France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. And the Julian calendar that they used to use, New Year started around the spring equinox around April 1st. And if you were slow to get the news that the calendar had changed, you might think that New Year was starting April 1st rather than January 1st, which would result in your friends and or family, or maybe your enemies, calling you an April Fool. Another theory is that it has to do with the Roman festival of Hilaria, which is Latin for joyful. And it involved people dressing up in disguises and mocking each other. Even each other, and like even the leaders of the city would get kind of teased and made fun of during this festival. It was just supposed to be a day for a good time. And so there's speculation that because of when that festival fell towards the end of March, that's where the theory of April Fools came from. There's also the speculation that it came from the spring equinox, which happens around this time, and the first day of spring when Mother Nature fools people with weather, because we all know spring, it's sunny and bright one minute and pouring rain the next, kind of makes April Fools out of all of us. So again, we don't really know exactly where it came from, but it has been popular for a long time and just sort of something that, you know, it's a day to kind of have fun and make fun and do harmless pranks. Of course, you know, you don't want to do any pranks that would hurt somebody else physically or hurt their feelings, or really scare them. You know, if you have a friend who hates surprises, maybe April Fool's Day is not a good day to prank them. So just be mindful, be kind when you're coming up with your pranks. This one's pretty harmless, I think. So April Fool's Day became really popular in Great Britain in the 18th century, and since then has kind of just been a thing. So a couple of really famous April Fool's Day pranks that have happened throughout the years. In 1957, the BBC in England reported that Swiss farmers were having a record crop of spaghetti, and they included pictures and footage of people harvesting spaghetti off of trees. Can you imagine if trees grew spaghetti? In 1996, Taco Bell said that they were going to buy the Liberty Bell and rename it the Taco Liberty Bell. That was a prank as well. And in 1998, Burger King actually advertised a left-handed Whopper, just so that people, I guess, who are left-handed could eat Whoppers also, even though you could eat a Whopper left or right-handed. So those are a couple of like more famous pranks, and again, nobody was really harmed during them. We don't want to actually hurt anybody or hurt their feelings, but just kind of do something goofy to have a laugh. Okay, so our milk splatter is just about filled in here. So I'm gonna hold this up really quick so you can see, but I don't want to hold it up too long. But it should look something like this. And again, you can be creative and make yours whatever shape you would like. So we are actually gonna wait and let these dry. And again, I've got one going on wax paper too, so we can see how that turns out. Just let it dry and we will peel it up and see how it works. Stick around and we'll see you soon. Hi friends, we are back. So I decided to let my glue dry overnight because I used a lot of glue. I made my milk spill a little bit thicker, and I think if you did like a thinner layer of it, it would probably dry in a few hours, but I wanted to make sure that it was really, really dry. So the next step in this process, all we have to do is just peel it up off of whatever our surface is. So I told you that I was gonna try wax paper, and so the wax paper works okay. It's not great. A little bit of paper does kind of come up with the glue. So yeah, you can see it's kind of tearing a little bit. I wouldn't recommend the wax paper, but if you have nothing else on hand, like you can probably peel it off enough that it would be okay. But definitely, it does definitely stick a little bit. So just keep that in mind. We're gonna try and peel this up off of the glass. So the instructions that I linked showed them using an X-Acto knife to peel this off, which seems like a lot, and probably not very kid safe. I'm gonna just use a regular butter knife and see if I can start scraping up the edge. Some of my corners and edges aren't coming off too clean, and that's okay. I'm just gonna trim it up when I get it all off so that it looks as much like a milk spill as possible. Okay. So once we've got it peeled up, it kind of looks like this. I'm gonna go ahead and trim some of these edges to kind of reshape it, because we can do that. It's really easy to trim. So honestly, like my suggestion for this would be, it doesn't really matter what shape you put it on the plate or your glass, because when you peel it up, some of those edges are a little bit sticky. And it's possible I didn't grease my surface enough too. But again, like, it is really easy to cut. So you could just even pour this on the plate in like a square or a rectangle, and I feel like it would, once you peeled it up, you could just shape it into that like milk spill pattern like I'm doing now. And it does cut really easily, which is nice. Here we go. And there we go. So, 2 milk spills that you can use to prank somebody, and for an extra touch, you can add a glass so that it looks like it spilled right out of the cup. So I hope that you enjoyed this easy do-it-yourself April Fool's Day prank. I hope you have a day full of fun and laughter, and we can't wait to see you here soon at the Maitland Public Library. Bye, friends.